Hi, my name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and this is your Mentor's Moment. In today's question, a dad asks, why does my daughter act like a boy? Wow, this is a great question. Thank you so much for asking, and I want to jump right in. It sounds like you have some rules and expectations about who your girl should be. This isn't uncommon, right? Like, we have these societal norms about boys should be like this, girls should be like this. Young people should be like this, older people should be like this. Men should be like this, women should be like this. It is, like straight people should like this, gay people should be like this, transgender people should be like this, and everything that's outside of our expectation often is uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable because we have these expectations that this is kind of be the way it's going to be, and everything will sail along, and in a life full of uncertainty, at least I can be certain that boys are boys and girls are girls, and they should act as so, right? Well, as always, we do put an entrepreneur's hat on questions like this, and it's our job as entrepreneurs to constantly be breaking up our expectations of the world. Like, why do we assume that things are just the way they are? Why do we assume that they should be that way? And is that actually true? Or is that just some archaic rule or expectation we have? Is it something that serves us? Is it something that doesn't serve us? Now, sometimes there's boundaries where, like, I have an expectation the world works this way, and if somebody violates that expectation, that is a boundary I have, and nary the twain shall meet, and I can't participate in that. But those are very few and far between, and those should be literally at the extremes of what you're capable of being with. See, the bottom line is that we are born with rules and shoulds and expectations, and very often those create structures, right? Structures about what is acceptable, and this is great. We've got some structures, we've got some rules, great. The problem is we have the tendency that as the further we go along to make more of them, and things get smaller and tighter, and it has us living smaller and smaller lives, which are less filled with joy and more filled with discomfort anytime outside of what we're comfortable with shows up. So we're gonna have a conversation today about opening up your comfort zone. Because the bottom line is the only rules and structures that say a boy should be a boy and a girl should be a girl and they should act as such is based on society, is based on some expectations that it sounds like you have, that maybe you were taught by your parents, maybe it was a societal, maybe it was a community thing, but I can tell you that it has one impact. If for any reason you're disapproving of it to your daughter, she will know. And that's the impact that we should be most concerned about. Look, you're a dad. Your daughter craves your approval. She craves your approval. Now, I'm not saying don't give your daughter approval if they're doing dangerous things or incredibly inappropriate things, or, like we said, pushing those structures that are way outside of that. But the only thing that they are incredibly interested in is your approval. Is there something about the way they're acting that makes you so uncomfortable that you feel like it's not okay? Or is it just some expectation you have about the world that this is different than? Like, we talk about, when I grew up, there was no Title IX. Title IX is that congressionally mandated law that requires that girls' sports be equally represented as boys' sports in high schools. What that's meant is an entire generation of young women who are coming up who are these extraordinary athletes. And you'll see that in the way that we participate on the world stage in women's sports. We are breaking down barriers left and right. You're seeing women's hockey teams, you're seeing women's rugby teams, you're seeing women's everything teams in so many places, which is so exciting. And part of that means that we're getting a lot more athlete women who are letting go of the pink dresses and letting go of the social clubs and letting go of the reading of books in the park, because that was really never them anyways. And who they actually were was, I'm going to go and I'm going to play, I'm going to play a sport and kick the tail out of it. And what I notice is, like, you get more athlete women, they walk like athletes. They don't walk like men, they walk like athletes, incredibly fit, solid in their bodies, understand themselves. They don't sort of walk in that sort of traditional way that women were taught to walk, which is supposed to be alluring and gentle and everything else. No, they walk like athletes because they're ready to get out and take the world. Now, does that look different than maybe what we expected? Absolutely. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. Title IX has shifted very often the way that we see girls' sports and the girls who are playing them, and that's a breakthrough, and it's incredibly positive. That being said, I just want to impress upon you that there are no rules about what makes a boy and what makes a girl and what makes their right behavior. What works for them works for them. And if they feel fulfilled and they feel accepted and loved by you, then that's going to be more important than any being like a boy, being like a girl in the world. Because if they're being not like other girls, they're going to get plenty of people out in the world who don't approve of it. Are you sure you want to join that group? Really, the focus is how can I support them where they're at? And if you don't understand it, you can always ask them, why do you like doing this? It's so funny. I'm not used to girls liking to go do this. What do you like about motorcycle racing? I'm not used to girls liking motorcycle. Like, what do you like about it? I guess I've always assumed boys would like that. Oh, I love the speed. I love the speed. I love the danger. I love turning into a corner at a 90-degree angle. Ask them. They'll tell you all about it. It can be this huge window to enrich your relationship with your daughter. Oh, this is a great question. Thank you so much for asking. And keep the questions coming. We're loving answering your questions. Now, I have a question for you. If you're watching this video, how would you have addressed this dad's issues? And if you have a question of your own, make sure to put it in the comments down below. And lastly, remember, we become better men by spending time with good men. My name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and this has been your Mentor's Moment.